And now I've got on with us Bishop Harry Jackson, and he and Bishop T.D. Jakes recently came together, and this is Bishop Harry Jackson's brainchild, so that's why I'm excited that I've got him, his spirit-led brainchild. They formed together the Reconciled Church. It is a new initiative that has called on some of the top leaders in our nation to come together, to be on one accord and make some progress for the church to have a stand in what we see going on with police issues, police misconduct, etc. But you know what? Why am I talking about it when he's on the phone? Welcome, Bishop Harry Jackson.
Hey, Monique, thank you so much for having me. What a privilege it is to follow Dr. Cynthia James, and who is now working closely with T.D. Jakes. And I believe that we have the answer, and it's faith in God. That's always been the place where people of color have gone. It has been a court of appeals, according to God, and a court of last resort when nobody else could help. And in the middle of a civil war, when it seemed like slavery was on the line, it was God that released blacks from slavery and from Jim Crow, and he's about to do it again. And can I say for your audience, they need to remember this phrase: after God does something, won't he do it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Won't he do it?
You got me so excited right there, Bishop Jackson. Oh, my goodness. I almost lost myself entirely. Won't he do it? Yes. Okay. So right now, hashtag Motivation Monday, hashtag won't he do it? And the answer is yes, he will. And he does every single time. I really just have the unmitigated gall calling on senior pastors and leading preachers on a Monday. Now, you know that there must be favor on my life if I can get the likes of a Dr. Cynthia James and a Bishop Harry Jackson. Mondays are sacrosanct, so I apologize, but I'm not sorry. I apologize, but I am thankful for you all coming and doing this, because people need this information, and I just didn't want to. I look at every opportunity that I have to share with people as an open door and an opportunity to bring and shed some light. So just for your willingness, thank you. And can you just tell, for people who may be listening and don't know, can you tell us a little bit about the church you pastor, and then we'll go into the Reconciled Church?
Well, I appreciate it. I pastor Hope Christian Church in Beltsville, Maryland, and you can find it on thehopeconnection.org. And Beltsville is just about 4 miles north of the University of Maryland, College Park, and it is about 40 minutes from downtown Baltimore and about 35 minutes from downtown Washington, D.C., and we are stuck in the middle there in this fabulous region. And it's a multiracial, multicultural church. We have about 27 different nationalities that worship together. We got first-generation Africans, Hispanics, white, black, you name it. And God is doing a great work here. And the church is several thousand. The final thing that I want to say about it, we birthed the Reconciled Church Movement really because we've been living in this place of all these nationalities worshiping together for years.
Right.
And we've got a major opportunity, I believe, with the crisis going on in Baltimore and beyond, to really shift the narrative in a nation about race and bring healing to what is a 400-year problem, America's original sin.
Yes. Yes, yes. And I'm so glad that you couched it in those terms, because I listen sometimes to the news and to different groups, and it seems that some are shocked. They're appalled, which they should be, but there seems like there is some measure of shock, as if something is going on that has not been going on. And that's just not the case, is it, Bishop?
No, we have had a historic problem with class, generational poverty, and race. And because what happens in Baltimore, right here near me, with all the violence and Ferguson and Chicago recently has blown up now. Folks are saying we thought everything was all right. But the reality is that many blacks and Hispanics have broken out of the poverty conundrum. Others have gotten access, and they're doing pretty well because of education. But if you are black, born poor, and you don't have education, it is 3 strikes and you're out.
That's right.
And there is a sense of hopelessness that has really gotten to many of our listeners. And I want to say to them, hope is on the way.
Yes, on the way for all of us. So, speaking of hope being on the way, tell me what the Reconciled Church is. And I just want to say, by the way, to people listening, you can follow Bishop Harry Jackson on Twitter at Bishop Harry. And you can also follow the Reconciled Church, which he's about to talk to us about, at The Reconciled. At The Reconciled and at Bishop Harry. So, Bishop, what is it and what does it mean?
Well, what it is simply we called together on January 15th of this year at the Potter's House, Bishop T.D. Jakes and James Walkerson, anybody who would come from national leadership. We had about 150 national leaders representing 40 million Christians. And the denominations, Bishop Paul Morton was there, Bishop Zach McKenzie from the AME group was there. We had a former Southern Baptist Convention President Jack Lamb at the meeting. We had leaders who from the National Association of Evangelicals. So they represented 40 million believers. And we came up with a concept that we needed to create bridges to peace. Essentially, we said this bold statement: we can heal the racial divide on our watch. And that's something we can do. 10 years from now, if the church leads the way, if the people follow, if your listeners engage their faith personally, as Dr. James talked about, we can heal the racial divide. But in order to do it, we got to take these bridges to peace. 7 distinct bridges. And, a natural bridge takes you from one place to another. So let me talk to you about what these bridges are, real, sad. They are very, very simple, but they're very comprehensive. They're very important. People are already doing the work in America to heal the nation. And what we've got to do is cross these bridges. Number 1, prayer and reconciliation event, like the Reconciled Church event. That night it was covered January 15th by Daystar TV, and 6,000 to 7,000 people gathered at the Potter's House. It was featured on Daystar Network. It's still viewable there on demand. And tens of thousands of people saw it live. It's been repeated several times. People have watched it, downloaded it on their computers, and it's making an impact. That was a prayer and reconciliation event. So we recommend people do this all over the country. June 20th, for example, there's one in Baltimore where about 150 churches will be gathering together, marching through the city, and going to the sites and offering prayers. And then there's an agenda they have to carry out after.
1 second, Bishop Harry. Bishop Harry, I will be right back with you. We've got to take a small break, and then I will be back with Bishop Harry Jackson talking more about the Reconciled Church. Monique Pressley in for Roland Martin. Back in a moment. This is Monique Pressley. I am in for Roland Martin on the Roland Martin Show on the Empowerment Radio Network. If you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am the happiest person in the world to be here today. Why? Because it's another opportunity to share information and inspiration that you can use for your journey. If you're just now joining us, I've been saying that we're hashtagging today Motivation Monday. Hashtag Motivation Monday. And if you follow me or my radio show, then you know I'm the breathe through it girl. I know that there are some things in life that we can't just get over. We can't just drop it like it's hot. There are things we have to get through. And when you breathe through it, you're taking in the Spirit of the living God the same way you're taking in that fresh breath of air that you need. And it empowers you for your journey through life. So I'm bringing a little bit of the breathing room to the Roland Martin Show today with guests who are talking about ways we can access our faith to walk out our journey in employment, walk out our journey in the economic system, walk out our journey through all of this matters that are going on in the social justice system, the state of this nation. And I've got one such guest with me right now, Bishop Harry Jackson. And he's talking to us about the Reconciled Church. And I think, Bishop, that we had gotten through maybe one of the 7 bridges of ways that people can come and do something. But I want to just repeat the premise that you gave before we went to the break, that you all came together. And you know what? This list, Bishop Jackson, is amazing. When you put Bishop T.D. Jakes and you put yourself, Bishop Harry Jackson, but you also have a Pastor John Hagee, and you have a Bishop Vashti McKenzie and a Bishop Paul Morton and a Dr. James Robison. When you put all of these people in the same place, that could go one way or the other, right, Bishop Jackson?
But we didn't know whether we were going to have the biggest fight in recorded history or whether we were going to come up with some healing solutions. We all agreed at the end of the day that there is something God is asking the church to do. So we have to own our separation, own the fact that racism still exists, even within the walls of the church. And then, as we come together at these bridges, if we'll lead the way, just like they did on the march from Selma to Montgomery, we can lead the way in changing America, changing our laws, and then changing our practices.
And you said, Bishop Jackson, you said, for anyone who missed it, that you all came together with a singular premise, and that was a big, bold statement. I love it, that we can heal the racial divide on our watch.
Yes, we can heal the racial divide now. I believe in the next 10 to 15 years, we can do away with it. Churches are becoming less racially divided in terms of membership. Numbers show that, but we can intentionally evangelize. So even the predominantly black church partners with a white church in the region, we can build a bridge. And we also said best practice, great word out today, that there are churches like, we'll use T.D. Jakes as an example in a moment, T.D. Jakes' ministry, that are doing some things. If we had more churches work together with them, and then we had just then be much more multiracial, being white churches and Hispanic churches and Asian churches working together, we could heal this divide. And right now, let me go through the 7 bridges real fast. Prayer and reconciliation events. There are educational reform issues, opening schools, after-school programs, making sure that people who go to prison typically are functionally illiterate. We need to make sure people that go to everybody's church can read. Third, civic engagement. Meaning we got to vote, we got to be on juries, we got to be on grand juries. If we do that and they reflect the community, what will get done? Community outreach and service, feeding the poor, clothing the naked, reaching out to the least of these, collaboratively. 5, marriage and family intervention, helping people heal their families. 7 out of 10 black babies are born out of wedlock. It should not be. Hispanic kids, nearly half of them are born out of wedlock. We need intact families. Number 6, criminal justice reform. Well, I want to shout when I say that.
Yes.
People have got to be able to get out of prison after serving their time, especially nonviolent offenders, and they need to be able to return to their destiny, return to their life. We serve a God of a second chance, and there are measures that we may not have time to get to, but I've got 6 questions to ask every politician about criminal justice reform. We've got 6 major laws that are being worked on to change America. And then the 7th bridge is economic development. We got to bring jobs back to the hood. Jobs back to the hood.
Yes.
If we'll do that, then we break down, as we started off saying, class, poverty, and race is the puzzle that is causing us problems in our cities. And so if we solve the class problem through education and giving people access into other areas, if we break this demonic stranglehold of generational poverty, and then race is not going to be such a heavy issue for us anymore as we bring jobs back to the hood.
Well, and you know what, Bishop Jackson, I wish we had the time to talk about each one of the 7, because Lord knows, that each one of them could be a show. But what I'm always saying whenever I get an opportunity to speak out is we cannot police people's hearts and minds. We are not the ones in charge of regulating that, but what we can do is ensure that we have opportunities across racial lines and barriers, across sex lines and barriers, that young women, young men, old men of all races, colors, creeds have a shot. And so when you said bring jobs back to the hood, I mean, my heart leaps, because when the jobs are there, the incarceration issue isn't as much of an issue. When the opportunities are there, I mean, they look at some of our people on TV just pillaging through their own communities, and they wonder how we got here. But if you stopped and looked in those communities, and not just Baltimore, I'm talking any city, inner city USA, they're sorely lacking in jobs, and there are more of their African American males incarcerated than in any school system, high school or college. So I know that we really have to start there. And if you could just give us, well, first of all, I need a website where people can go to look up more information about the Reconciled Church.
Yeah, it is real simple. It's thereconciledchurch.org. Just spell it out as one word, and then you'll have the 7 Bridges of Peace. You'll have statements by myself, Bishop T.D. Jakes. There are a bunch of testimonials here that leaders like Cindy Jacobs, the National Prayer Leader, is speaking. Philip Godot is on here. R.A. Vernon from Cleveland, who's doing some amazing things are here. And so there are all these positive testimonials in video form that will help you get the vision and see what we are up to. Also, there'll be various interviews we've done. There's a open letter to President Obama asking him to mention criminal justice reform this past January, and he did so in a State of the Union address. We got Andrew Young talking on the website in an interview session. You don't want to miss that. Andrew Young, T.D. Jakes, Lee Anderson from the National Association of Evangelicals, and on and on and on. They show me on the 700 Club, Pastor Ricky Rush from Dallas. It is just a powerful, powerful website. And go check it out and get a vision and be encouraged.
Okay, well, we've just got like 2 more minutes. If you could just give something to the people listening now that'll get us on our way, or some assignment that an individual listening can do that would help them to, not be on the sidelines of getting change for our country.
I think the first thing I'm going to say is go to the website, sign a covenant there, which is the covenant of reconciliation. But then you've got to make a decision that you're going to heal this racial divide by doing what you can. And I believe that we need to love one another and pick one of these bridges that we're going to be invested in. I think that's really it. Pray to God that things begin to shift and change, and we need to start with criminal justice reform. People who've done time, who are in our families, people that we know, We need to help them return home. We need to help them find jobs. We need to have churches that reach out to former offenders so they can get their lives and get a chance at hope. We need to help them catch a wave of grace that will lift them out of their problems and bring them to their divine destiny.
Well, amen, amen, and amen. I think that, and I've been all through the website and have followed all of the events. I was fortunate to be able to be at the tail end of the last one in Dallas. But I think if you're listening, if you go to the website, there's something that everyone can do, small church and even individual. Thank you, Bishop Jackson, for being with me on the Roland Martin Show. And we just appreciate everything that you're doing. I'll be back with more.